How's it going, everybody? And welcome to another episode of Prem de la Creme. France has just played Morocco. It was an interesting game in terms of, what were we going to be expecting? France, will they finally get out of third gear? Morocco, everybody's favorite underdog, were they going to make it into back-to-back semifinals? Well, the reality was France did end up getting the win, 2 goals to nil. Morocco are out of the World Cup. There are still so many talking points, though, and I'm going to introduce my panel members first before we dive deeper into this game. To my right, I don't know how you all see it on your screen, but to my right is Mr. Mac Saeed. Mac, how are we doing?
I'm doing good, bro. Always good to be back on the show with you and Big Man Pav. So excited to get into it.
For sure, for sure. And yeah, speaking of Big Man Pav, he is also in the building. Big Man Pav, how are we doing today? How are we doing?
We're doing great. Let me turn the zoom down real quick. But the World Cup, you know what? I feel melancholy because there's only so many games left. And with how
Yeah,
incredible of a tournament this has been, I'm not ready to let it go yet.
I hear that. I hear that. I think all of us definitely are well and truly like in this World Cup by now, surely. But it's definitely delivered. I think this has been one of the best knockout round campaigns of a World Cup that we've ever seen in terms of drama,
Yeah.
in terms of scorelines, and stuff. In terms of last 10 minutes, I don't think there's been another World
Yeah.
Cup really, in my memory at least. And I've watched every World Cup since 2010, and like in terms of my memory, I experienced obviously
Yeah.
2002 and 2006, but that's when I was 2 and 6 respectively. So I can't remember those too much. But yeah, let's deep dive actually into this game. But Pev, I'll start off with you, right? Because France, 48% possession to Morocco's 52, but obviously France made a lot more with that possession, getting expected 3 goals, scoring 2 of them, 22 shots on target, 22 shots total, 8 on target. Morocco, only 5 shots, 1 on target. Tell me what happened in this game today.
Wait, the possession stats were what?
France actually had less, 48 to Morocco's
That's
52.
insane. Because considering how this game went, Morocco looked like Paraguay. They set up like a Paraguay team that were trying to stifle France all game. The way that France were able to pass around, exploit spaces, it was just such a danger for them that they had to sit deep, rely on their guys like Talbi to maybe come up with something, El Honus to come up with maybe something, Diaz to come up with maybe something. It was a real sit and pray game for Morocco. And I thought that France showed that they were the significantly better team. Every time I watch France, I think to myself, are they too talented? Do they have this chink in the armor that nobody has found yet? Is there a debilitating weakness to them? And the answer every time this tournament has been no. So they're terrifying when you think about yourself as a team potentially having to go up against them, whether that be in the semifinals or whether that be in the final.
Yeah. And Mac, anything else to add to that, especially the fact that Kylian Mbappe was, I think, the star of the show today, getting his penalty,
Yeah.
missing it, and then
Yeah.
scoring and assisting.
Yeah. I don't think today was one of his best performances, but today really showed what separates a good player from a great player. When you want to score goals, bro, you're going to deliver it on the big stage and help not even your country, you're going to help the whole nation as a whole, bro. You're going to put them on your shoulders and take them all the way. Is it 8 goals now? Although you missed the penalty, you can cut him some slack
Eight
there. Right?
goals.
8 goals now, bro. I don't think we've seen a better, like, what you call it, golden boot running than this, bro. It's, I think, 8, 7, 7, 6, bro. It is absolutely crazy. And Dembele also, to get onto the score sheet, even though Mbappe got, bro, credit to him because he could easily let Mbappe take the applauded spot. Another big game player stepping up to the big occasion. He also deserves his credit today.
Yeah. Obviously, in terms of goals and assists this World Cup, no one has more than Kylian Mbappe with 11. Messi, obviously, in second with 9. And Erling Haaland in third with 7. But that's because Haaland scored 7 goals. Yeah, Haaland and Messi are obviously still to play. So it's going to be interesting to see who ends up top of the Golden Boot race by the end of the quarterfinals. But yeah, talking points, agendas. If France going to win the World Cup, right? How much of this Ballon d'Or race now also swings to Mbappe's favor over Dembele's favor? Because everyone is pushing for Dembele, But if Mbappe ends up having a better World Cup than Dembele, does that mean Mbappe gets the nudge?
I think the precedent was sent back in 2023 when you look at Haaland versus Messi, right? Haaland, he had this incredible club campaign. Now, yes, in this scenario, both Dembele and Mbappe would win the Ballon d'Or, or they would have won the World Cup, right? In this fictional scenario where France end up becoming champions. But you look at Mbappe and how prevalent he is and the performances that he put on the World Cup. Let's say he finishes as the top World Cup goal scorer of all time as well, right? You add to that his numbers, games played, goals scored, which he also has an advantage over Dembele. And you add into the narratives, team concept. Yes, we saw Dembele win it, but let's have somebody new now. This is finally Kylian Mbappe's moment. It's a compelling argument. It really is. I think that the narrative, I think that the performances in the World Cup, the visibility of them, and the numbers would all put Kylian Mbappe in that prime pole position to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Mac?
I'm with Pav.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm with Pav. I agree with you. But the thing is, who has more PR? Is it Mbappe or is it Dembele? Because we see
Mbappe.
Dembele at the moment. That day I can agree with you. But we've seen Dembele play 9 games in the League and won the Player of the Season. So it's about he won the League he won the Champions League, and now he won also the World Cup. So throwing all 3 into the equation with Mbappe only winning the World Cup. Well, PR, journalists nowadays do some questionable things. So we don't know which way it can swing. But I agree 100% with Pav for whatever reason.
I think if Mbappe wins the World Cup, finishes as the top scorer, finishes as the top scorer of all time, the only way that he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or is if they try and pull with him what they tried to pull with Vinicius Jr., where they talk about him being disruptive, all the Paraguay game and how he was in that beef with that senator, even though the senator started it. I think that's the only way that they even try and spin that narrative. And even then, Mbappe is a likable enough personality and he's that enigmatic that I think that he'll be able to overcome that.
Yeah,
He's been that present. And he's been that present as well in the public mind too. That's the other thing. Vinny, when he had that 23-24 season, we never thought of him as being, the best player in the world. Mbappe has had a couple seasons where we thought of him as that or close to that, and he would reach the peak of that, but we would already have the familiarity with him of being at that level.
Yeah. I think now we have the stats and the eyes, both of them combined, to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. So as much as Real Madrid didn't end up winning the Champions League or La Liga, in terms of the Ballon d'Or being an individual award for the best player in the world, Mbappe was the best player in La Liga, and now he was the best player at the World Cup if they go on to go win, So
Yeah.
to me, it is a lot of compelling arguments, and at the end of the day, it is a journalist vote, so it will be interesting to see whose PR team can push it more. But I do lean on Mbappe more because Mbappe is just a better global brand name. Let's talk about. He is though, yeah. No.
It's about time. It's about time he wins it.
He does deserve it. It's funny. It'll be very good if he wins it. I just it just came to my head now. Pav low-key put so much pressure on Mbappe. I think Mbappe must have seen Pav's video. Because there was a video Pav made where he was like, is Ousmane Dembele about to lap Kylian Mbappe? Do literally everything Mbappe was meant to do and do it again.
I apologize to him. I apologized to him just now on this most recent video. Because I can't. As much as I want to call him a World Cup merchant, how can I disparage somebody for performing on the biggest stage? How can I really do that? The purist in me cannot deny that. That's the other thing as well. Is as much as I'm this tactical, yes, I love these technical players and these possession controlling players and these strong tactical pieces. There's something about just being better than the opposition and just getting to watch that unfold in front of your eyes. It's magical.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see a France versus England final because then it is literally winner of that final wins the Ballon d'Or because that will be Mbappe versus Harry Kane.
Bellingham?
Bellingham will make he'll be, I think he's top 3 at his podium. I think it's podium.
Kane is a penalty merchant that likes scoring 3 pens a game against Bochum.
No, I don't think we can argue with him now winning the Banter. If he wins it, I think he'll win the World Cup. I think it is.
Harry Kane has scored in every knockout game he's played this season, from the Pokal to the Champions League to the World Cup. No. So you know the whole thing that was always over his head for so many years. Oh, Harry Kane doesn't step up when his team needs him to score in every knockout game in every competition this season. I don't think we can even see that anymore.
See, I think the difference between Kane and Bellingham is Bellingham will score to put you ahead. Kane will score as a consolation.
But in DR Congo, Bev. DR Congo.
Okay, DR Congo. Okay.
Still dug them out of it.
You know what? I think that Messi, if we're going off these World Cup performances, Messi, Haaland, Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinny have all been better than Kane, in my opinion.
Oof. I think, but you know what? On that point, I would say Harry Kane, the World Cup is more of as like a caveat almost. Like, you know, like it's like the sprinkles on top. It's like, I would say the majority of Kane's campaign was built in the club, whereas maybe Mbappe, this World Cup is what's pushing him over the line now. And then Messi imagine if Messi wins the Ballon d'Or again.
Let's not forget also, Kane has 6 goals this World Cup. Even though he scored those penalties, he still has 6. He's still there also in the Golden Boot charge.
He is. We're going to see. You know what? Him versus Haaland, I think, is the first big battle of this World Cup. Great versus great.
Yeah. You saw that interview with Jet Spence?
Yes.
That was low-key so cool, bro. That's like the start of an edit. I got goosebumps. I'm not even joking.
You know what though? You know what the thing is that I take points away from Jed Spence for? It gives me less faith when he says that. It's not that Jed Spence said what he said. It's that Jed Spence said that thinking in his head, this is going to look so cold when it's in an edit of Harry Kane. and it's almost that reverse karma in the universe that's going to strike him back for trying that. I can see it. I can see it. Even though I predicted England to beat Norway.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of for the greater good, right? We do want England to win Norway because I think England have a better chance of winning Argentina, isn't it? I don't know. Pam, what's your stance on Argentina, by the way? Because I see it's quite split, the whole football community.
I think the 50-50s are in favor of Argentina. I think like the yellow cards on transition and those not being called, and they have not been called for so many teams in this tournament. I think that's a serious problem, and that's a way of the referees stacking the deck against these smaller teams. Because think about it. If you don't give yellows for fouls on transition, who are you hurting? You're hurting the teams that are sitting back trying to break out on the opposition. Right? But I think that when you look at the big calls in the Egypt versus Argentina game, the disallowed second goal, that was a foul. And then when Argentina scored, their third goal, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul on McAllister tugging on the guy in the box. There wasn't enough contact.
I think that was most the tug on McAllister.
But regardless, I don't think that was enough at all. So I don't think that either one of those things were fouls. So the big calls for me were correct. It's like the small little 50-50s that hedge the bets of Argentina or France or Portugal or Spain. So that's the other thing as well that really upsets me is as a Croatia fan, I see all these nose pickers saying, Ronaldo, I would rather lose like him than win like Messi. I'm sorry. How did Ronaldo win his last game? Oh, a little bit of this hitting a ball and not influencing the flight of the ball at all. Get out of here. Don't give me that. And also, how did Ronaldo win those Champions Leagues? Him being offside pre-VAR. Absolutely ridiculous. Every big player has benefited from calls over the years. You know why? Because they're the big players and they get the benefit of the doubt. And this case, Egypt versus Argentina, the big calls, that was not one of them.
Yeah. I think yesterday I even explained to them, like, the way Hamza explained it, I didn't actually see it at that time, and I said there's different phases. But the way the ball progressed from that foul leading onto the goal, it was literally one phase where the ball moved in a certain direction forward. There was no stop in play or went back or not. It was just one flow of the state, ball all the way. Even though it went from one player to another, it was just still one phase. So in that aspect, it was correct to pull it back. And Hamza's representation of the way he was explaining it, they showed the whole field. They had to show the whole field because of it being one phase.
It was an overturn of possession. It was an overturn
so
of possession. If Lisandro Martinez got fouled, right? Egypt won the ball. Then Argentina won the ball back. Then they lost the ball. Then Egypt scored. Then you can't disallow the goal. Because there was a different overturn of possession. If from that direct overturn of possession where there was a foul, the goal then gets scored, it has to be ruled out.
Yeah.
And I think the way that these referees are operating, the way that they're going in their minds is, I'm going to let the game flow, maybe a bit more for the bigger teams than for the smaller teams. I'm going to let it flow. And then if by some chance there is a foul, I can lean on VAR for me to then call it back.
Yeah.
That's what I think that their mindset is. I think that they're too reliant on VAR to fix up their mistakes, and they don't want to risk making a call that stops the play and could stop a potential goal. They want that safety net. So that's what my idea is when thinking about Egypt versus Argentina or about any of these games.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with referees nowadays. They just rely on VAR and hope for the best.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
The argument could also be made for, like, say for today, the French game. Every single referee was Argentinian, but the referee for the Argentina game was French. No one made a big deal about it. So why would a French referee go and favor the Argentinians, considering what happened the last World Cup? No one took that into consideration. I agree, like Prem said, the 50-50 calls were going towards Argentina, because that's, I think even more picked up on it yesterday. The bigger club or the bigger country will always get the calls over the smaller countries.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, we 100% agree, but I do not think it was rigged.
No, it's not rigged. If it was rigged, it would be so much more obvious. So much more obvious. Rigging, the thing is as well, rigging in the VAR era is near impossible, because creating this way of like fudging calls when you have to go and see the video evidence is just too difficult. If it was going to be rigged, it would have been rigged like how in 2002 South Korea cheated Italy, and you could just make a random call and nobody could check you on it. So I think it's too far. I think saying that Argentina has the benefit of the referees and they have bias towards them is one thing. I think saying it's rigged is completely nonsensical.
Yeah, I agree on that as well.
Yep.
Before we move,
you'll see. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just tomorrow, when England plays Norway, you'll see most of the favors will be in England's half instead of Norway. So just watch out. Just look out for that.
Do you think Belgium and Spain would? Do you think that's two? That's also another example potentially. Belgium.
Yeah,
Spain.
I think
Spain will get the
Belgium
benefit of the doubt. Yeah, but Spain will get the benefit of the doubt, 100%. And the same way England will get the benefit of the doubt, unless because it's Clement Turpin and him and Tuchel have beef. Clement Turpin all of a sudden, starts giving Norway a bit of benefit. So,
but before we do get into Spain versus Belgium, too, I just want to touch on Morocco, and I'm going to go to my African here. Mac, what do we make of that performance? Because it was an underwhelming performance from what is, unfortunately deemed, the AFCON champions. But yeah, they just didn't look like they were up for it today. Things just didn't.
It was very disappointing. I think each and every player, as well as the coach, Mohamed Awabi, will be very disappointed in the way they approach that game. Because normally we'd see a Morocco take the game to the opposition, and then eventually in the second half, once they cemented something, sit back. But they started it from the first whistle. From the minute one, they sat back, tried to absorb as much pressure as possible and hit them on the counter. But ultimately, France was just too good for them. Like Pav said, they exploited the spaces. They got in the pockets. Against great teams, you can't do that. I know it works to a certain level, and Paraguay tried it. That's why Paraguay tried to rough it up in the game, tried to get them out of their comfort zone. The Moroccans couldn't do that. Moroccan players are too soft. This is where, unfortunately, African countries are on the physicality side. But these Moroccan players are born in Europe. So they lack that physical edge. So it has its pros and it has its cons. But I was very disappointed in Morocco today. They were but I say 2 steps behind instead of 2 ahead. So unlucky. It was one of those where I wasn't proud of these guys today.
If I'm going to be totally honest, I am disappointed in Morocco if I was a Moroccan, not just in the fact that they played the way today against France, but also how they played against Canada. They did not look good against Canada. They got a smash and grab through their superior quality rather than them outplaying a Canada team that had never been at that level of the competition before. And that's where my red flag comes in, is the fact that this is as negative of a performance. Perhaps not to the same level, but it's a trend. Them going that deep and that conservative and not being able to outplay their opposition. That's where my concern would come in, and that's where this change in their coach from AFCON would worry me. Is this guy really the right guy for the job? I would lean towards no.
He was
Yeah.
actually, when he came in, he was playing more progressive football. As he got to the knockout stages, he decided to switch it up. Because like the Canada game, they sat back and played on the counter, and that's how they exploited Canada due to Canada's slow defenders.
Yeah, but I just think in general, it's not convincing, right? It's not something that you want to see. You want to see something that can translate throughout the tournament, right? You being on the front foot a little bit. Because think about it, as Morocco, you think of this as being a historic occasion. You're finally one of the big boys. You're the biggest team in Africa, right? So you have to play like that. Yeah, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the entire continent, and you're sitting back like that. It gives people a negative perception of, again, not only yourself, but every country around you.
Yeah.
And also, Ashraf Hakimi was not good this tournament, too. You think about guys that need to step up. Him, Bouwadi since that Brazil game. But Bouwadi's one thing. Bouwadi's a kid. Let him develop. I think, if anything, him and Yan Diomande not having the best tournaments is the best thing that could possibly happen to either of them.
I think he was quite decent today, apart from when he lost the ball in that first half. I think he was quite decent today. As you could see, he could have lost the full game considering France's dominance. So it was a good call to take him off.
I think he was trying to insulate himself a little bit from making mistakes, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. But yeah, he kind of didn't match that combination that you need from the real top midfielders, which is when to play safe and when to play expansive. He would play expansive when he had to play safe, and he would play safe when he had to play expansive, which, in fairness, in this game wasn't often. But I just think in general, knowing those two modes, he's still trying to figure out the balance, which is totally fine. Again, he's a kid. But I would rather him put these performances in when everybody's watching, be forced to go back to Lille, develop for 2-3 years, and then get his big move, than him go to PSG or go to Arsenal or go to whoever and get thrown into the fire when he's a kid or get no playing time. Same with Yan Diomande. Stay at Leipzig and take 2-3 years to really develop, not just into the dribbler that you are, but learn how to get into those attacking positions and affect with GA in those big moments, at these World Cups, at these AFCONs. So that's how I perceive it.
But maybe a player like Diomande will actually benefit from going to the league, and considering the amount of space they have there to work with, he could develop into something. I don't know in terms of playing time if he would, but with those type of fullbacks, I think he would be able to play his best football and to get to that bigger stage.
I think let the guy develop. I think we're at a phase now where everybody's so saturated with talent nowadays. Just let these other guys that haven't made a move yet stay at their clubs and develop.
Yeah, I hear you.
Interesting. Okay, boys, let's wrap this show up with a small bit of a preview of Belgium versus Spain. So, yeah, Belgium is going to be taking on Spain tomorrow or later today, depending on where you're watching. And yeah, Spain, when it comes to their team heading into this game, they have no unavailable players. Everyone is available. A noticeable player that is unavailable for Belgium is Amadou Onana. Spain also heading into this game with a historic first time ever 6 consecutive clean sheets. Right, the Spain team is looking dangerous, but it's almost as if it's like they surprise you as to how dangerous they truly are, because you look at that team on paper and you think, can this team really win the entire World Cup? You question it, not like France where you don't question it, but they are ultimately showing why they are FIFA's current second best team in the world. According to the FIFA ranking, Spain has now jumped all the way up to second.
Yeah. I think Spain has shown. Okay, go for it, Pav. Go for it.
I think that the 3 guys that I'm going to keep an eye out for in this game are going to be one, Lamine Yamal. This is make or break for him. If you win this game, you're going to be going up against France. And I am not willing to bet on you unless you're going in with a head of steam. So this is your opportunity to do that. I'm also looking out for Pedri. Will he lock in? He was not good against Portugal. He's not had a good tournament. People call you the best in the world. Will you be that? And the final guy that I'm looking to is actually from Belgium. It's going to be Thomas Raskin, sorry, not Thomas. Cut that. Nicholas Raskin. For some reason, I think his name is Thomas the entire time. I think that he, as a stand-in for Amadou Onana, or as a stand-in for Kevin De Bruyne, he's replaced one of the two. I forget which one. Van Aken replaced Onana. He's been the stand-in for De Bruyne. He has been a real revelation for them. I think that him, Luke Bacchio, have been great filling in for De Bruyne, for Doku. How are they going to perform under this kind of pressure? Because he's a guy that I've had my eye on since he came into the team as a starter, and I want to see how he performs against the top level, because that could very well earn him a move to a top team. Seriously. Top 6 in the Premier League, something like that. I think that he genuinely has the minerals to become a really high-level player. The versatility, his ability to cover ground on the pitch, but most importantly, be that calming presence in possession, also have an eye for a pass too. I want to see how he plays.
Mac?
Yeah. So I think Pav's mentioned most of it. But like, Spain have been good this tournament, but the last game it was dead, not gonna lie. I think we need to see more from them. We need to see more impetus. We need to see them more on the front foot. Spain is a team that love control. They love position. Even though they have their chaoticness, as long as they have their control, they're in charge of the game. With Belgium, on the other hand, we haven't seen much from them apart from impact. And this has played massively into Rudy Garcia's hands. As soon as Lukaku comes off the bench, something happens. So if Belgium want to infiltrate the Spanish, they need to start from minute one, trying to get to them, make them feel uncomfortable. Do what they least expect hits them. That's what I want to see from Belgium. But I don't think personally Belgium are that team. I think they got the physicality over Spain, but will they impose it on them? I don't think so. So ultimately, I think Spain will be technically too strong for them. I think it will be an easy win for the Spanish. I hope Belgium do something, but it's not looking likely.
I think Belgium actually are physically weaker than the Spanish as well. You look at some of their players, Rodri, Pedro Porro, Lamine Yamal. I think that they have the capacity to out-hustle this Belgium team as well. But again, it all depends on who turns up. Rodri, for me, has been one of the best midfielders in this tournament.
Yeah.
But Lamine Yamal, I expect so much more. And as for their defense has been incredible. I think the real test is going to come against France. Now, that kind of sucks because they've been coming up against some of these D-tier level attacks, and now they're up against an S-tier level. Right? It's a complete jump in quality. So that'll be interesting to see how they can cope with that.
Perhaps not wrong there, right? Because Cape Verde, Saudi, Uruguay, Austria, and a 41-year-old Ronaldo. So it's such a big jump from all of those to France.
No, and then, like you said, France have all those monsters. Becoming one is a beast. So that's going to be a massive challenge ahead for them.
Yeah. Whereas on the other hand, Belgium, obviously, coming back from a 2-0, a 2-0 down situation against Senegal, then to go on to win 3-2, and then kicking out a host nation, United States, that they had a lot of hype, also behind them heading into that game, but to ultimately win 4-1. So Belgium also, in terms of mindsets from both countries, like Belgium should be on a very big high compared to Spain.
They probably have the most momentum of any team in the tournament. When you take a look at their positives versus the pressure that they're facing, right? Norway, yes, they're kind of playing with house money, but they've got Erling Haaland. They're considered to be an ample match for England. Switzerland, nobody's really paying attention to them. People expected Colombia to win. Yes, Switzerland winning was also great, but there's just that less euphoric path than what Belgium have. And France, everybody's looking at France. Yes, they have this incredible momentum, but also the expectations. They're the number one team to win the entire thing. Plus, you take into account Spain, England, Argentina. Belgium have the most positive environment in the tournament, and that could very well lead them to nicking this game 1-0 if they play their cards right.
Yeah.
Right, let's end it there then with some score predictions from both of you guys. So I'll start us off. Spain versus Belgium. to Spain. They already broke history, making 6 consecutive clean sheets. I think they extend that record. So I'm going to go for 2-0 to
Yeah.
Spain.
I think Noah, you
Back.
took those words straight out of my mouth. I'm also agreeing with you. 2-0 to Aspana.
That big Pav.
I'm going to go with Olmo goal, late Lukaku goal, penalties Spain.
Oof. I would love that, though. I'd love that. Lukaku as well, yeah. 3 goals this World Cup. Belgium's top goal scorer of all came off the bench. And technically, it's supposed to be 4 because he did cause the own goal also against against Egypt.
Egypt,
Yeah.
Gunman.
But yeah,
Gunman.
that's
Underrated gunman.
underrated. I mean, Belgium's top goal scorer of all time as well. People need to put respect on Lukaku's name, man.
He's that
But
guy.
yeah. Moment other with a 3-0 Spain as well. Love to see it. Let's see whose score predictions will come out, exact tomorrow. Everyone's backing Spain, it looks like, so let's see what happens. But that's been us. I've been the corner flag. Mac, thanks so much for joining us as always. Big Pav, always love hearing your voice. We'll see you guys tomorrow night after Spain win Belgium. Take it easy, guys. Love to your mothers.